Summer is here, and that means trips to the beach, days in the sun, and plenty of Carolina blue skies. It's also the busiest season for buying and selling homes. So it's the Sharp Mortgage team's favorite time of year. Are you thinking of buying a home this summer in our beautiful area of the Triad of North Carolina? Well, look no further than Highlands Mortgage, where exceptional service meets unwavering dedication. They understand that purchasing a home is more than just a transaction. It's a milestone. Their team ensures your experience is smooth, responsive, and genuinely caring from start to finish. So why buy a home this summer with them? Well, you get personalized customer service. They pride themselves on offering great customer service tailored to your unique needs. Their responsiveness is unmatched. They're always just a call or email away, ready to promptly address any questions or concerns. And of course, you'll get expert guidance. You can rely on their knowledge and over 20 years of experience to navigate the often complicated world of home buying with confidence and ease. Summer's the perfect time to find your dream home in Winston-Salem, Greensboro, or anywhere in the North Carolina Triad. Let the Sharp Mortgage team guide you every step of the way. With their caring and responsive mortgage team, make your home buying journey this summer memorable. Just call 336-575-9448 to get started. 336-575-9448.
It wasn't necessarily me trying to build an identity. It was me trying to serve my head coach. And in the process of serving, boom, I kind of find out some things about myself, about what I like, what I may not like, stuff of that nature. But it wasn't about me.
This is the Triad Podcast Network.
Love and basketball. Corey Thompson's life in many ways mirrors the script of the 2000 romance and drama. The newest head coach of Winston-Salem State's men's basketball program played there, met his wife there, volunteered there, and now returns there as the university's first alum to take the lead spot on the bench. As you listen, you may find many elements of Thompson's story relatable. My favorite, quote, "When home calls you, you have to come." And those 18 inches along the sideline make all the difference, as Thompson will point out, and coaching wasn't even something he had dreamt of. Yet, all the influences along the way, the start at Slippery Rock, stops at UNC Pembroke and Fayetteville State, tutoring young men as the head coach of an NC high school, and choosing family above all else, has led him back to where it all began. It was all made possible by a vacancy created by previous head coach Cleo Hill Jr.'s decision to leave for the same position at Maryland Eastern Shore in June. And Thompson, originally from Lumberton, emerged as the one to next protect the legacy, a phrase all too familiar to those deeply rooted in the strong tradition of Winston-Salem State men's basketball. A 4-year Letterman holder from 1998 to 2002 that played and memorializes Ricky Duckett. Thompson acknowledges the impact of Clarence Big House Gaines, who retired from WSSU in 1993 with 828 wins to 446 losses, the winningest active basketball coach in NCAA history at that time. He celebrates Earl the Pearl Monroe and appreciates the contributions of Cleo Hill, who became the first African-American from an historically black college and university to be drafted number 1 by the National Basketball Association. Officially named the 10th head basketball coach on July 9th at Winston-Salem State, this is Corey Thompson's story of love and basketball. I'm your host, Kyle Schasberger, on Triad Sports One-on-One. Okay, you get the phone call, I presume from A.D. Thomas, before the July 9th press conference announcing your hire. You learn you're the next guy at Winston-Salem State to lead its men's basketball program. How'd you react?
Wow. I had to pinch myself, literally had to pinch myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming. A lot of emotions from top to bottom, tears of joy, excitement, everything that you can ever imagine. So I was just elated just to get that phone call. And literally, I'm being dead serious. I literally pinched myself, and I had to walk around for like maybe the next 30 minutes to say, did this just really happen?
Now, your wife, Kesey, children, Tyson, Leah, and Chelsea, all separated by 3 years each, which I think is awesome. 16, 13, and 10. Were they near?
So actually what happened was funny story. So I was actually home cooking pancakes. And so I was cooking pancakes and I was cooking pancakes. And when A.D. Thomas called me, I was in the process of trying to make brunch for the kids. So they were nearby. My wife was at work, but they were nearby. And I just totally forgot about the pancakes and the eggs. So everything was burnt. Literally everything was burnt. So they was like, Dad, what's going on? I'm like, I'm the next coach. So it was definitely exciting. They were excited too. They were tears of joy and just, excited for me and everything.
Pancakes. That's a soft spot for me. Are you familiar with the Twin City Kiwanis Club Pancake Jamboree here in Winston-Salem? I believe it's every February annually. Have you ever participated? It's at the Benton Convention Center, directly behind where you and I, or at least where I'm talking to you. Have you ever been there?
No, I have not, but I'm definitely going to be on my planner to attend. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know.
So we've created a little impromptu eating contest, me and my airfield guys who I'm full-time employed with. And this past February, I ate 24 pancakes in about an hour and 10 minutes.
Jeez.
So do you think you can take down 24 pancakes in an hour?
No, but I know my son can.
Absolutely. He's a big boy, too.
My son he definitely can. No question.
Tyson is growing. We'll get to him. And I want to go back to the feelings of, again, pinching yourself and what it means to be an alum and come back to the school because, both you and Kesey starred for the Rams in the late 90s. This is a university you both identify so much with, so much history. Ultimately, your time here together paved the way for the wonderful family you have now, offering an opportunity to return to where the flame was first lit. So it's got to feel awesome.
Again, definitely a dream. And I always say I'm living a dream. And literally, I can say that living a dream, and not just for me, for my wife as well. So my wife and I, we met in 1998. I like to tell the story. She was chasing me, but it might have been the other way around. But she was a really good player on the women's team, and we just naturally, when I first met my wife, when I first met her, I said she's gonna be my wife, just but not literally, just kind of thinking in the future and everything. But she's been a blessing to me, our family overall. Just continue to push me and just to push, everything and just move us forward. I mean, she's been a jewel in our family, and I don't think she gets a lot of credit for it because behind every good coach, there's an excellent wife. And so we celebrate our 18-year anniversary on Monday. So we've been married for 18 years and we've been together for over 20 some years. So, but I'm just fortunate to have her. So just having that opportunity for not just me to come back home, but just for my wife as well, is a dream for us all.
Yeah, you said after the introductory press conference, filled you with great pride and great honor. And it sounds like this is like a modern day story of love and basketball. I mean, this is so poetic that you're able to circle back and come to Winston in this manner and ahead of the 18th year anniversary, as you just stated. That's awesome. You earned Most Improved Player in 1999 while guiding the program to its first CIAA championship in 25 years, and first with a coach not named Big House Gaines. The first of back-to-back league titles, too, earning the Rams one of 4 consecutive Division II NCAA playoff berths. We're talking about your time as a player now. And upon graduating with a bachelor's degree in therapeutic recreation in 2002, you attended Slippery Rock for the next 2 years, earned a master's in parks and recreation management while beginning your coaching career as a grad assistant. All that to ask, was coaching something that had always interested you? When did you get that bug?
That's a great question, Cal. So if you ask a lot of coaches, some coaches will tell you that they were born to coach. That wasn't me. That wasn't me at all. I think once I came to Winston-Salem State, I knew I loved basketball. So basketball was the thing I loved doing. And I had an accident, an injury, my junior year where I had to sit out for a couple of games because I had hurt I might have fractured a bone in my hand or something of that nature. But anywho, so I sat out for those 4 games or whatever, and I observed the coaches. I saw Coach Duncan, I saw Coach Stitt, what they did, and I've always admired both of our coaches, our head coach and our assistant coach, along with Coach McNeil, late great Coach McNeil as well. So, that was something I said, you know what? I love this game so much that I feel like coaching is what I wanted to do. Wasn't born coaching, but I just love the game of basketball, bro. I love it. I mean, I love basketball. I mean, it's just a passion for me. And so after I graduated from Winston-Salem State, an opportunity presented itself to go to Slippery Rock University. Never heard of Slippery Rock. So it's funny. So whenever I tell people Slippery Rock, they look at me like I'm crazy. It's Slippery Rock University in Slippery Rock, PA. So, and they're diehard Steelers fans. So, anytime you up north and you're in that Pennsylvania area, if you're north of Pittsburgh, it's all Steelers. So I grew to hate the Steelers. Hopefully I won't get in trouble for that. But just how my path and lined up from going from college and then going right into becoming a GA was something that really helped me out and prepared me. And since then, I've been coaching at various levels, at the college level, high school level, AAU, and it's just you got to have passion for whatever you're doing. Coaching is my passion. I didn't always know it. I knew I loved basketball, but I didn't know that coaching was going to be my career path that I chose growing up.
Who's ready for movie night? Our friends at the Ginther Group Real Estate are proud to sponsor another season of innovation and cinema at Bailey Park in downtown Winston-Salem's Innovation Quarter. The next film is Blade, starring Wesley Snipes, on Friday, August 16th. Bring your chair or blanket to Bailey Park for a great night of cinema from Aperture and beverages and food from a variety of local vendors. Pre-film fun begins at 6:30 p.m. and the movie begins at dark. These magical movie nights are made possible by the Ginther Group, the real estate experts we trust and showcase right here on the Triad Podcast Network. Check their social media for info on each upcoming movie night. And for your real estate needs, call 336-283-8689 or visit theginthergroup.com. Buying, selling, investing, or just learning. Whatever you need, start now. And like me, you can become a Ginther Group client for life.
Life is full of celebrations, birthdays, holidays, life milestones, and so much more. And who has been helping generations of families celebrate these events? Our friends at Dewey's Bakery. And even if you aren't planning for something in the near future, you don't have to wait to enjoy something savory and delicious from Dewey's. Maybe you just need something to get you through your Mondays. Drop by every Monday for a free Cake Square Day. No purchase necessary. Just come celebrate the start of a new week. So, if you're hearing this ad on a Monday and you're in your car, reset that GPS and get to one of their 3 Triad locations immediately in Winston-Salem at Thruway and Renolda Manor, plus one in Greensboro at Friendly Shopping Center. And any day of the week, you can find the perfect item with fast and easy ordering options at local.deweys.com. Plus, Dewey's does so much to help celebrate our community. To date, they've given back over $4 million to local schools, churches, and other nonprofits. Your next celebration isn't complete without something special from Dewey's Bakery. Dewey's. Celebrate every day. Sure, and there's a lot to unpack there. I want to touch on each of your stops and even circle back to the influences of the legendary Ricky Duckett as we progress in this interview. But Slippery Rock, look, there is no offense taken by the Steelers talk, for sure. I'm wearing a Bears hat, so I've divorced Justin Fields, okay? Bear down, and Justin is dead to me. So I don't care about Pittsburgh in any sort of way. And there are some vintage collegiate sports merchandisers out there that are actually taking advantage of the Slippery Rock brand and name because it is so obscure and nobody knows what it is, but it actually is, a unique name, a unique logo. So, you cut your teeth there, if you will. That's kind of how you got your start as a GA, but then you came back to Winston-Salem State and you worked as a volunteer assistant, right? How did you make any money?
Again, when you're passionate about something, Cal, you just want to be involved with it. So I was going to make it work either way. So in the process of me volunteering here at Winston-Salem State, Coach Duckett was very involved in the community. So I was able to build relationship within the community of Winston-Salem. And we were volunteering sometimes at public schools and at the local YMCA and the rec center. And I just so happened to, by working and volunteering and doing community outreach programs, I was able to develop relationships. Again, those are things as a young student athlete I'm not thinking of, but those are the things that help prepare me. So when I was able to finish up at Slippery Rock, I was able to come back to Winston-Salem State and volunteer for a year. And fortunately, I had I can't remember, I want to say it was a parks and recreation job that I had. So it was a part-time job that I did. And I think I did something else too as well. But at that point, it was just, I wanted to continue coaching. And by any means necessary, whatever I needed to do, that's what I was going to do. If I was going to volunteer, part-time, full-time, it didn't matter. Coaching was what I wanted to do. And I was going to pursue that dream.
And Kesey was continuing to put up with you at this point.
Yes, isn't that crazy? That's why I love her.
Yeah.
So in that process, when I was working on my graduate degree, Kesey was also working on her master's as well. She has a master's degree from University of South Carolina in social work. So she has her master's in social work as well. So, we were both planning, not really necessarily knowing what we were doing for our future. We knew that I wanted to coach. That's all I knew. I just know I wanted to coach. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I just know I wanted to coach. But we were both planning for our future. And it's just ironic how things really just work together for the good, not just for us, but for our family overall.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And as we continue to chart your path to this point, your return home, you were the associate head coach at UNC Pembroke for a handful of years, and then the associate head coach at Fayetteville State. What kind of identity were you creating for yourself as a coach along all of these stops to this point?
I think first of all, it's imperative because, when you're working at different programs, it's not about you. It's about you're trying to make that head coach the best head coach he can possibly be. You're trying to make that program the best program you can be. So it wasn't necessarily me trying to build an identity. It was me trying to serve my head coach. And in the process of serving, boom, I kind of find out some things about myself, about what I like, what I may not like, stuff of that nature. But it wasn't about me. And I think that's the thing that a lot of times as a young coach, you have to cut your teeth, as you mentioned earlier. You got to cut your teeth. You got to get that experience. You're not going to jump from being a player to a head coach right away. You got to learn the lay of the land. And I'm grateful for those coaches I work for. Worked for Jason Tinsley at UNC Pembroke. And then after that transition, Coach Ben Miller came in. So you get a piece of every coach you work for. You get a piece of something they did, something that you might have done that could follow you throughout your career. So Coach Key was my last head coach I worked for at Fayetteville State. All coaches are different. They allow me to grow as a coach. So they put a lot of responsibility on me. I was the assistant coach, but really I was the head coach. And I carried they allowed me to do a lot of responsibility. So that was great for me. My title was assistant coach, but I was able to do a lot of roles as a head coach. And that really prepared me for the role I am today. So I'm grateful for those guys, just for even just instilling in me that opportunity to be able to take those responsibilities at a young age, should I say, and have that experience. It's valuable.
And those teams at Pembroke certainly could rebound the basketball. They ranked seventh nationally at one time. In rebounding margin, top 50 in field goal percentage, defense, and blocks. Seemed you kind of had a knack for promoting it, and you're a big guy yourself, so promoting that physicality, the rim protection, enabling your teams to play big. But most recently now, you've been a head coach. You've been the guy, but at the high school level, it's St. Paul's High School in St. Paul's, just right around the Fayetteville area between Fayetteville and Pembroke, as the varsity head men's basketball coach. So you won 4 consecutive league titles, advanced to 8 straight state playoffs. What did you enjoy most about coaching in the prep ranks, in addition to finally having your program and being the guy?
It's going to sound corny, Cal. I just enjoy being able to be home with my family, bro. Like, that was the biggest thing for me. I kind of went a different route with coaching. I got right into it after college was over with. So it was just boom, right, go right away. So family time was and me and Kesey were still young. Family time, I didn't have much of that. And so it was always on the go. When my kids were born, I was always on the go. I was home. And this is the thing. I was home physically, but mentally, I'm thinking about basketball, like recruiting, scouting, blah, blah, blah. So when this opportunity presented itself in high school, I didn't necessarily want to go that route, to be honest with you, because only thing I knew was college. At that time, I had over 12 years of college experience. So I just wanted to go in the college route. I was not thinking about high school at all. But it was important for me at that point of time that I needed to be with my family. So I chose my family instead of pursuing more of the into the college ranks. And the things that I learned at St. Paul's was invaluable. Just, the opportunity to lead the program, like you said, that was something that I never had the opportunity to do that in my previous stops. But I was prepared for it because the head coaches allowed me to have a lot of responsibility. So the thing that I love about St. Paul's is that, and not just St. Paul's, but just, coaching in general, being the head coach, is that you have to make your own choice. All the coaches say that 18 inches, is different. When you move from assistant coach to head coach, it's totally different. And it doesn't matter if it's high school, if it's college, if it's AAU, you have to make the final decision. You have to make the final decision and you have to live with it. So whether it's good or bad, you have to make that decision. So I think that really prepared me. And then also having the opportunity to coach my son, AAU, just having the vast experience of coming from a college game to come into high school. And Cal, there's a lot of really good high school coaches here in North Carolina. I mean, there's really good high school coaches here, coaches that's been coaching for a very long time. So able to build that bond with them, able to build recruiting connections, not even knowing that all that was going to help me out to where I am now. So just the AAU experience, just meeting contacts, building relationship with coaches, AAU programs, all those are starting to pay dividends for me now. And it's amazing how things works out.
It truly is amazing considering you're back here in Winston-Salem now after going all in, with your family and making that decision and going to high school, even when that wasn't the most excitable thing for you to coach high school age kids, but you wanted to be with your family. And now you're back at the college level. So I got to ask, was it you like having the itch, having the urge, waiting on the right opportunity, and then you see it's Winston-Salem State and you make the first move, reaching out to the athletic director, Etienne Thomas, or is he already gauging you, knowing that, hey, Cleo Hill Jr. is out the door to Maryland Eastern Shore? How did this all come together in the fashion that it did? And like I said, this is like poetic. This is storybook type stuff.
Well, if you go back and look at my whole, I could really write a book about my whole life. It's just my journey in athletics, and I won't take you because that'll probably go for about a whole hour. So I won't take you there. But my whole life has been a journey, has been a poetic, as you mentioned earlier. It's been a journey just to get to where I am today, just to even play basketball. So just when this opportunity came up. Again, my first instinct is like, I want to get back into it. That's my alma mater. I love it. So the chance for me to get back was just, I'm in an all-time high. But then I'm like, I have commitment to these kids here in St. Paul's, So it was a hard decision for me to make. But again, this is home for me. This has always been a dream job. So like I said in my press conference, this is my Carolina. This is my Duke. So, when home calls you, you have to come. So I think it was just one of those things where, of course, I went through the process like everyone else. I applied for the job, had to go through the process and everything. So, and I was just fortunate enough to be able to be selected. So it wasn't, when it came open, of course, I got a big grin on my face. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I love my kids at St. Paul's. I love Winston-Salem State, though. I love Winston-Salem State. So it was a tough decision, but it's a decision that I think that I made the right. Well, I know I made the right choice. No
decision comes that easy, right? Especially when it has this many tentacles and rippling effects. But, the road has led you back to Winston, becoming the first alum of Winston-Salem State to lead the men's program in the hardwood. A.D. Thomas called it a privilege to hire the school's first alum to this position. And, with all of that involved, everything you've said already, we know it fills your heart to, immeasurable degrees. So it truly is unique. Let's go back to your time as a player for the Rams. Those two championship teams of yours were inducted into the CE Big House Gaines Hall of Fame in 2012. You played for the legendary Ricky Duckett, who went 73-19 from 98 to 01. He passed away the start of this year after dedicating his entire life to coaching the game of basketball. Tragically, cancer, too, that took his life. But how do you measure the impact that Duckett had on you? You started to speak a little bit on it earlier in this conversation, but what does Duckett mean to you in your development?
Tell you, Cal, I think I'm going to cry so much that I don't have no more tear ducts to cry. But this is just so unreal. Just the impact that he has made, not just only on me, but also my teammates as well. And like they always said, the good book say, you could judge a man by the fruits of his, by his fruits, and the tree that Coach Duckett planted, the fruits are good. It's not spoiled or anything, but the impact that he's made on my life, not just my life, again, just everybody, is just unmeasurable. The things that, as a young man coming in, not really too sure about himself at Winston-Salem State, not knowing what direction to go, the values that he taught me, the confidence, and most so than anything, the tenacity, the will to persevere and push through. Now, this journey in coaching, Cal, has not always been the merry-go-round and has been always positive. But the one thing that Coach Duck has always taught us is to keep persevering, keep pushing through. And because life is going to bring you challenges, as you very well know. It's not always going to be, sunny and grass is going to be green. But, there are going to be some dark days. There's going to be some rainy days. But you're going to have to push through. And I think just the things that he taught us are life lessons, life lessons. Hold yourself accountable. Be on time for stuff. Make sure you're respectful. Treat everybody the right way. Those are all life lessons that he taught us. And ironically, my teammates and I, we were very successful on the court, but it had to go back to what he taught us off the court. That was the most important thing. So, we have something that we call here the circle. It was a circle, and I won't go too much in depth about that, but the circle was something that Coach Duckett established. It was like the brotherhood at Duke. It was kind of like the brotherhood before it was even started. But, you held your brother accountable. And those are the things that we were taught off the court, and then it translated back on the court. So I'm forever grateful to him. Miss Duckett, his wife, we're still in conversation. I talked to her. It's just, it's just a blessing just to be associated with him and just being able to come back and just to walk the sidelines he walked. That's the thing that's crazy to me, Cal. I'm like, oh. So, you got big house games and you got Coach Duckett, two of my idols that I'm walking the sideline. So I take this, this is humbling, but I also take it very serious as well.
It's time to get serious about your financial future. It's never too early, but it could be too late to get started. And that's oftentimes the hardest part, getting started. How much do I save? Where do I invest? Do I save for college or retirement? How much for each? And who do I talk to about it all? Okay, we'll keep things simple for now and help you answer the last one. We recommend you begin with a local financial advisor. And that's Jennifer Johnson of Three Magnolias Financial Advisors. She'll sit down with you for a complimentary introductory consultation and go over all of your questions. Get started on the path to achieving your financial goals. Visit 3magnoliasfinancialadvisors.com or call 336-701-1600. Get comfortable with your financial future. 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors. Retirement, financial planning, and investments. Securities offered through Cetera Advisor Networks, LLC, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors. 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors and Cetera Advisor Networks are not affiliated. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity.
That's amazing. Those lessons in life, they obviously come through, with you. You seem to be, just the way you speak about your wife, your children, quite the family man. And a lot of that, I'm sure, came, certainly from your own upbringing and your own family, but coaching, anybody who's played a sport ever in their life and has had that positive impact, they know what we're talking about, so that certainly has come through. And I appreciate the references to Duke and not North Carolina on this podcast. So thank you. I've worked with the Duke Radio Network for 7 years now in studio, doing pregame, halftime, postgame stuff. So I'm here for the brotherhood. I can do without the Carolina stuff. A lot of these guests, have come on to preach about. So it's been a week and a half since you were hired. As we talk now, How's it been? What was the first order of business? Are you drinking out of a fire hose? What has it been like?
Living out of a suitcase, literally. Literally living out of the suitcase. But just hitting the road running. The biggest thing for us is we have a lot of needs we need to fill on the roster. So the first order of action was to meet the current players that we do have. So I was able to talk to all the current players we have. I met with 3 already face to face, and I got a couple more that I need to meet with more of a personal level. Start developing that relationship with the current players. But then it's also we have to hit the road running. We have to bring in some players, but we got to bring in the right guys. I'm big in that, and I talked about it in my press conference that when we're bringing kids here, yes, they have to have talent, but I'm looking at the carrots and all that stuff too as well. They don't have to be saints. I'm not saying they have to be saints or anything, but for me, that's a big carrot. That's something big, because if you have a player that's talented, as you know, you can get to that mountaintop, but the character is what's going to sustain and keep you there. Because a lot of players, they're talented, but when adversity hits, that's when that character flaws show. And again, they're young men. They're going to have some flaws. I understand that, but we want to make sure we bring the right guys in. So we've been on the road. I'm not saying on the road. Let me rephrase that. We've been on the phone just calling, recruiting guys, and just trying to make sure we can get the right players in that can fit our style of brand of basketball.
I'm glad you touched on that, because I was curious about the recruiting strategy, and I figured character, certainly would be a big part of that. And, it's different at the D2 level versus D1. I'm not privy to how different it is. So, and for most casual, people out there who have their favorite Division I programs, and they read the message boards or they consume what the local media and the national media is providing them, there's a lot of recruiting stuff out there, and it's a different game, with NIL and the portal and all of that. How could you maybe succinctly explain the differences in the year 2024 right now as you walk into a Division II program that is certainly very different than what it was when you last played in the late 90s? So what are some of the key differences maybe as you try to attack and build this roster?
I think there's not a lot of difference. It's just, building relationships. That's the biggest thing, building relationships with players. Now with basketball, with the NILs in play, everything's, I had a conversation with a gentleman earlier. Everything is transactional. It's all transactional, whether it's money, whether it's, what can you do for me to move on? So it's a little different in that approach. So as a coach, you want to have to, as our AD would say, her favorite word, you have to pivot. So you want to have to pivot with it. So understanding that, kids coming in and they have a greater demand as far as with wanting to do well, because they may want to move on. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. The thing I always say, it starts in the NBA. So when you have these guys in the NBA and they form those super teams, it trickles down to college, and then it actually goes down to high school and AAU and all that stuff too as well. So I would say really the biggest difference is just kind of understanding the landscape of recruiting. Knowing that players are coming in with a little bit more expectations than probably what they would have done 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I wanted a degree. I just wanted to play basketball, and I wanted to get a degree. Now it's a little bit different. I want to play basketball, and coach, by the way, I want to get paid too. So it's a little different, but you got to understand that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's, kudos to them, because we didn't have that when I was in college. We had something called work study. And work study was not, nothing that, that's elaborate what it is today. But at the end of the day, though, I think it's all the same. Cal, just answer your question. But you just have to understand each player's what they need. What are their desires? What are their goals? What they hope to accomplish? And kind of meet them where they are. Because some kids, they may want to just come D2 just to prepare themselves to go to that Division I level. And as a coach, you got to understand that. You can't have a full team of them, but you may have to have a 1-year kid or a 2-year kid and kind of have a plan for them. So I think that's the kind of difference from when it is now to where it is when I played. When you was in a program 20 years ago, you was there for 4 years. You're very fortunate to keep a kid for 4 years now. Now unless they're really committed and they're sold in, bought into the program. So, that's one of the biggest difference for me.
I appreciate that intel. Good notes for sure. Corey, you've been awesome. I got 2 more questions if we got time. Absolutely. If that's cool.
We got time.
My notes do indicate the last, and this is kind of a general, this is your opportunity. Like, hey, this is what I'm going to accomplish here with my fingerprints all over this program type of question. But the last time my notes suggest Winston-Salem State won an NCAA tournament game was 2002. Last Sweet 16 appearance was 2001 with a single Elite Eight and Final Four in 67. What is your vision now for this program? Now, I know those CIAA championships, I think, is what most defines this program, but what is your vision and what needs to happen for this program to go where you want it to go?
Well, the vision is already made. I mean, this, we have it on our wall, something called Protect the Legacy. And I think that the vision is already made. And I didn't know that as far as with, those are good stats that I didn't know. So for me coming in, being an alum, and also too being a former player, winning the CI, yes, that's very important, but also to advancing in the NCAA tournament, because we want to be on the national stage. Winning the CIAA is very important. I want to make sure I repeat that. It's very, very important. And we want to win the CIAA, no question about it. But we also want to get to the national ranks. We want to be able to advance. And we've been able to do that. I didn't know that until you just shared with me. My sophomore year, that was the year we went to the Elite. No, it was the Sweet 16. It was one game from the Elite Eight. So it can be done, and it has been done. And that's some of the things that, when I sit down and talk to a recruit, if you can see behind me, I have this gentleman, you may know who he is, Mr. Monroe, Earl the Pearl, that it has been done where you can come to Winston-Salem State and win a national championship. It's been a while, but it's doable. It is very doable, but you have to have a plan in place and know that it can be obtained. And we've been fortunate enough as a player to do that, but I want to do the same thing as a coach as well. So when we're coming in, yes, our goals are to win the CIAA championship, but our goals are also, too, is to win the national championship. But you're going to have to go through those proper steps to get there.
And maybe your oldest, Tyson, who is 16, maybe the red and white is in his future. Although I know a lot of Division I schools are already starting to reach out to this kid from scrubbing through your social. By the way, Coach Thompson is on Twitter, acts at Coach Corey Tomp, Thomp. 6'10", Tyson is. He's a rising junior, averaged 12.5 points, more than 9 rebounds, north of 3 blocks this past year at St. Paul's under you. Those are some good genes, man, between you and your wife. I mean, what are you feeding this kid? All the pancakes in the world, right?
All the pancakes in the world. And thanks to you, we're going to be in Winston-Salem at that time to go to that pancake
yes.
event. So we're going to be there for sure. I'm going to make sure I bring my champion, which is my son. Anywho, yes. But yeah, so it's amazing, Cal. I mean, it's amazing. Anytime as a not just as a coach, but as a dad, just to see your child, your kids do well. That's important. And that's, seeing him be able to want to obtain his goals. He does have goals and just seeing him being able to work and get to where he is now. He's not finished product, but just be able to work and get to where he needs to go. That's exciting for my wife and I. I will tell everybody, and since my wife's not on, that he gets all of his skills from me. But my wife's here not to defend that, so I'm gonna take credit for it. But we just have a family background history. I don't know if you know, my wife is from Kinston, and as you know, Kinston is just a dominant basketball powerhouse community overall as a city. And so, she has family members. Her uncle, the late great Charles Shackelford, played at NC State. So, I mean, there's a lot of pedigree that's come into play with Tyson. And I'm just not just glad for Tyson, but I also have 2 younger daughters too. I have Leah, who is rising 8th grader. She's going to be pretty good. She's working. So I think just them being around the game, bro, just them being around the game, me coaching, watching game film with me, watching games, just really, help marinate them and continue to help them be the players they are today.
Yeah. Family of hoopers, no doubt
family
there. Yeah,
loving basketball. You said it.
Modern day loving basketball. That might be the podcast title here when we release this, either on Friday or Monday.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it is a great one. Tyson will be attending Winston-Salem Christian School moving forward. He's already being contacted by some D1 schools, including, those in the Sun Belt, USA, MAC, even the ACC. It's just the beginning for a rising junior, for sure. Corey, this has been wonderful. All the best in good health and fortune for sure to you, the entire family, all of Winston-Salem State and its community. For you, again, you have the keys. You're at the controls. Your fingerprints here are going to be all over this machine here moving forward. And like you said, it's all about protecting the legacy that has been laid before you. And I trust you will do just that. Congrats, man, on taking over this Rams program, and all the best moving forward.
Thank you so much,
Hey,
Kyle.
thanks for listening to this episode on the Triad Podcast Network. Our mission is simple: provide information, advice, and stories about the people and places that make the North Carolina Triad such a great place to be. You can find us by searching Triad Podcast Network on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much wherever you like to listen. If you like what you heard and want to support the show and those that contribute, we would truly appreciate a rating and review on your favorite podcast app. It helps spread the word along, as do your shares on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Triad Podcast. To get in touch with us, simply email info@triadpodcast.com. Thanks for listening.
This is the Triad Podcast Network.